Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to your one-stop shop for horror news, true crime, and real-life tales of the unexplained. Monsters at Midnight, The Revenge. I'm your host, your favorite escape madman, loose on the airwaves, terrorizing your eardrums, Matt Schaefer. And as always, I'm joined by the immaculate and incomparable living dead girl, Joelyn Dormady.
Monsters and clowns and serial killers, oh my. We have a lot to talk about, so we're gonna get into it.
Lock your doors.
Bolt your windows.
And turn out the lights. Monsters at Midnight, the motherfucking revenge rides again.
Woo! Let's go.
Alright, we're in.
We're back.
We're back. It's happy hour.
Trying not to shout. I already shouted. We
I'm
got
already
this.
We're
shouting.
I'm so loud.
It's
I just
okay.
can't help it.
It's okay. We're excited.
We are excited. We've got a fun episode planned here for you. Sort of grab bag different things that we just felt like talking about this time. Starting off with currently on Netflix, you can watch Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. We had the opportunity to actually see it in theaters when it was doing its limited theater run before it was released on Netflix.
It was so worth it.
And it sucked. No, I'm kidding. It was
I'm
really
deceased.
It was really, really good. Let's start with you, because I'm sure you have your thoughts much more organized than I do about Frankenstein, because you've watched it twice now,
Yeah,
right?
I watched it on Netflix actually just like yesterday or the day before, just to refresh and see where I was at. A few things that I'm like excited about is I feel like this sort of jump-started Pan's Labyrinth is getting another theater run next year.
Oh, nice.
It is also, I believe, the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So, But yeah, so we get to see that in theaters again. I didn't see it in theaters the first round, so I would be really excited to see it this round. So that's cool.
That's a fun movie. Fun might not be the right word, but I enjoy that movie.
Yeah, fun-ish.
It's also devastating.
Bleak. It's bleak, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, similar to Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But truthfully, like, this project was just meant for Guillermo del Toro, and you can tell he's wanted to make this since, like, he was first creating films, like his first Super 8, I think he was like thinking about Frankenstein, and so if anybody deserves it, it's him. It just blew me away in so many ways. The first few things I took notes on were the fact that when we first saw it, as his mother comes into screen, Victor's mother, I was like, that sounds like Mia Goth. Oh, hey, it's Mia Goth. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, it's not. It is.
Yeah, I think I knew that going in.
I didn't know that.
I just happened to see the cast list and saw that she was playing two characters.
So I had no idea.
That's all she exists to do now, is just play someone's mother and her younger self, too.
Pearl wasn't a mother, in all fairness. But
Pearl,
no,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Pearl was not a mother.
She's a double dose kind of woman. I'm here for it. And when we first saw it, when I came out of the theater, I know I kind of had this reaction of like, man, she really didn't get much to act on.
She really doesn't.
But no, this is what happened, guys. I decided to pee during the big climactic wedding night scene. That's when I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that was like probably the biggest chunk of her acting. And it was probably like the most beautiful part that she had. And I just missed it. And so when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, I'm just stupid. Okay.
I still don't think she had nearly enough to do. In general, that is my biggest complaint with the movie, is the relationship between Victor and Elizabeth is kind of undersold. Like, there wasn't enough between the two of them for me to buy into anything.
Well, and for me, I think I liked that because she doesn't end up choosing Victor, even almost.
That is true.
He just kind of has her in his head and they like hang out a bit.
That is true. Yeah, I should also say from the jump, this is one of the more faithful adaptations of the novel Frankenstein that I have seen, but it still strays in quite a bit of ways, and that is one of them, is the romance aspect of, I mean, it's Guillermo del Toro. I think he's less interested in the romantic interest between two humans than the father and son bond between Frankenstein and his creation.
I do like, though, I feel like there were parallels between, like, Elizabeth and the creature, where, like, Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley. Sure. I feel like that felt really similar to me. And it mostly just because as I was like kind of like getting into it a little bit more, I realized when the creature is reading, when he's learning to read, he's reading Percy Shelley's works.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
wait, what?
Yeah, he's reading Ozymandias, which is written by Percy Shelley.
Osmosis Jones.
It's Osmosis Jones.
Well, that's weird. I mean, fun, but weird.
I thought it was beautiful. And honestly, it's because, like, if you'll notice, and this is one of my favorite parts, is once the creature learns to speak, he is probably the most poetic character in the film.
That is very true.
And Percy Shelley was kind of famously that way. It even got me down this rabbit hole of, like, reading some of the manuscripts of Frankenstein that Mary Shelley wrote. And, like, some of the edits that Percy Shelley did, or, like, that he suggested, were sort of just, like, adding words that were a little bit, like, more syllabic, honestly, just like a little bit more complicated, giving it a little bit more oomph. I don't know. And at first, like, when I read that, I was like, men, you know, which, like, a lot of my notes are just like, men. I have, like, a section of quotes about Victor, because Victor made me so furious, especially on the rewatch. I was like, fuck this guy.
Oh, I love him.
I mean, Oscar Isaac did an incredible job.
He's so good. And, like, I have not seen enough with Oscar Isaac in it. I think what I've seen is, like, Drive, Ex Machina, and the first Star Wars, like, what was it, The Force Awakens.
Yeah, he
and,
honestly,
like, I've liked him, and, like, Ex Machina is probably was the best performance I'd seen by him up to that point, but holy shit is he good in this movie.
He really blew me away, and truthfully, like, when I heard that Jacob Elordi was cast as the monster, I was so excited, because his work in Euphoria is, like, he is such a good actor. And I know it's, like, Euphoria and a lot of people kind of scoff, but, like, he really blew me away in that, to the point where I was like, this dude better be, like, on his way to do just amazing things. And he was really great in Priscilla, too. Like, he was really sort of...
yeah, I forgot about that movie.
It was... He did a great job. It was, like, he was charming, but, like, really unsettling at the same time. And in this, he just really...
He is very
committed.
Good in this
he committed.
Movie, yeah.
And I just...
Great physicality, too.
Yeah.
He treats his, like, birth and, like, infancy almost as if he's primordial, like an ape.
Yeah.
A lot of his movements in this movie are very ape-like. When he's in the house of the blind man, he, like, swings down from the rafters like a monkey.
I read that he studied... Japanese Buto dancing.
Oh, I could see that too.
And and for the voice, you'll notice he has this, like, really deep, like, resonating voice, and it's like seeing it in theaters, that was one of the best parts, was hearing his voice, like, just shake the room a bit. Yeah. But he studied Mongolian throat singing for that.
Oh, really?
So he committed.
That's
and that's
cool.
Not even just down to the effects. Like, I didn't write it down, but it was probably at least a few hours of sitting in a chair just getting, done up in the makeup, and that's hard enough.
Good look for the creature, too. That is always one of my favorite aspects of a Frankenstein adaptation, is I like the tech of it all. Like, I like, whether it's Boris Karloff or Kenneth Branagh with De Niro, I like seeing how the creature's going to be brought to life. And this one, I mean, it's Guillermo del Toro, so
it's the assembling scene.
Yeah, well, not even that, just like these, like, giant, like, borderline, like, steampunk, like, battery cells that are being assembled in this tower that you do more research than me on any given subject. Why is there just a hole in that tower?
Well, so I guess I don't know.
Is that, like, a thing they used to have in towers?
I'm not sure. I didn't really look that up. I do know that, like, Guillermo del Toro did specifically include, like, circles and light sources specifically to represent, like, sun and life and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So that might be another round of that. I'm not sure, like, historically. The only thing historical that I looked up, because I was, like, intrigued by this, were the caskets they used, because I was like,
oh yeah,
that could just be Del Toro being amazing, but no,
those were crazy. Yeah,
those were commonly used by like wealthy-ish people around that time.
That also doesn't surprise me, because that also felt very French.
Yeah,
Just like, yeah, we will bury our dead with the visage of who they were in life.
They're if you care to Google them, they're Fisk burial cases. So I don't know, they're really cool looking, and it is so Del Toro, like all of it is.
Yeah, the childhood home was the same set from Kubrick's Barry Lyndon.
No shit.
Yeah, I saw a side by side
from
dope. That. Whether it was intended, I mean, I assume it's a real place that they filmed at, and I still haven't seen Barry Lyndon, but yeah, no, it's when young Victor is crying after the death of his mother in front of that giant painting. That's the same location from Barry Lyndon.
Do you know where you know young Victor from?
I didn't recognize him at all.
He's the twins in The Monkey.
Oh,
yeah, I was like,
I do, yeah.
The whole time I was watching, the first time I was like, that kid is so familiar. He has to have done something like either super recent or like really like prevalent. But yeah, he's young. He's the young twins. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you're just killing it in the horror department, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even make that connection. Hey, speaking of The Monkey, you remember something last episode about Jeff Goldblum?
I told him I would own up to this too. Okay, so we were talking about Nope. I was talking about Asteroid City, it turns out.
Yeah, no, the alien in Nope is not voiced by Jeff Goldblum.
It's not Jeff Goldblum. But the alien in Asteroid City is voiced by Jeff Goldblum. And I was like even picturing that alien in Nope as if that was the alien from Nope as we were having the conversation. I'm like, yeah, that's him, right? Yeah, that's him. He talks.
That's wild. I've never seen Asteroid City. I don't know what the alien looks like.
It's not the alien from Nope, I can tell you that much. It's adorable, and it makes sense that it was voiced by Jeff Goldblum a lot more than, you know, the stingray-ish creature.
Yeah, you were thinking of Paul with Simon Pegg and
Seth Rogen. Yeah. I should have just said Seth
Rogen.
Yeah.
I really liked this movie. I think this movie works very well as like a companion piece to Nosferatu, in that it is very gothic and elegant and romantic, but also isn't afraid to get a little goofy with it, a little schlocky with it. Like, something... I go back and forth on this. I think I ultimately like it. Not only does Victor Frankenstein create life, he's essentially created Michael Myers. Like, the monster has regenerative powers. Like, what?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's not a crazy thought, because if he's like... Well, I guess maybe, yeah. Like, the fact that he could heal his own body versus just being animated.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, the more I thought of it, like, at first I was like, that's stupid. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this whole idea is stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm a Frankenstein diehard. I love Frankenstein. The idea of it is just, like, is impossible.
I mean, I like what they brought into this one about, like, the ninth configuration thing of energy being stored in the heart. And, where it's, like, storage and production, sort of.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. I like the science that they brought into it, because, like... Me, who does not understand science, is like, yes, that checks out.
Sure, well, yeah, I mean, it's great movie science.
Well, yeah, and you can follow it. It's not like...
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just like about... Like, once you just suspend your disbelief for a moment, I think you can just get wrapped right into it. Sure. Which is definitely what happened for me. I was like... And again, going back to that body assembling scene, where he's, like, assembling body parts, and it's beautiful, but it's, like, the most grotesque thing.
The score also does a lot of heavy lifting. I forget who did the score for this movie.
I didn't write it down.
It is an absolutely gorgeous score.
No, I wrote down in my notes just that, like, this movie really hit every category for me, I felt. Like, it was funny, but it was also poetic, and it was just beautiful in, like, every moment, but it was also grotesque, and, like, the practical effects were there. You know, the themes were there. It definitely came full circle. Like...
Dude, I just want to know who did the music.
You can do it.
Alexander Desplat.
Okay.
Who I'm sure he's done a lot of stuff, but I'm more familiar with he did the soundtrack for both parts of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Oh, that checks out.
I like this soundtrack a lot more. I never remembered those soundtracks from the Deathly Hallow movies very fondly, at least in comparison to like earlier Harry Potter movies. But I digress.
That's fair.
Christoph Waltz.
Oh, I love him.
Also, just like, I mean, shocking. Christoph Waltz is really good in this.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's really good in this.
He plays like a rich guy in the new season of Only Murders in the Building, where
nice.
like everyone's questioning like how old he is, and he just kind of like says vague remarks about like his age, and he's just like, no, I'm just, I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
and like. In my head, this is just canon with Frankenstein. Like, that's just the same character. He just somehow survived, and then bada bing, now he's a rich billionaire. Like,
yeah, that is... Yeah, the set design in this movie, immaculate. I don't understand the gaping hole in the top of the tower, but I do like it. It is nice to look at. The, like, dungeon area of the tower is also great. I love me a dungeon. Yeah. In general, just like giant staircases. And,
oh yeah, gorgeous.
And
the costumes.
The whole creation scene with the pouring rain falling through the gaps in the ceiling, and he's climbing up the tower during a thunderstorm, and it's so lavishly, decadently over the top, but in a way that is in service to an old school gothic horror movie, which Del Toro obviously has a lot of love for.
Right. I like, I do, like, on the rewatch again, I am much more committed to Mia Goth's character, especially because, like, the interactions she has with the creature versus anyone else do, like, hold so much stronger. That it's just like...
those are her best parts of the movie.
And it was on purpose, you know? And it's like... I like that. I like that dynamic. I like that they kind of brought the idea of the bride in, because, like, when he's carrying her, her dress is similar to Elsa... Is it Lancaster? Lanchester?
I think so, yeah.
But in The Bride of Frankenstein, it's, like, very similar. So, I don't know. I thought that was just gorgeous. And, like... I do think Mia Goth did an incredible job, because she got some of her good screams in with the mother character, and, like, her a little bit more, like, toned down,
the first movie I've seen where she actually uses her native accent, too. Yeah.
I was, like, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I can't even remember what her accent is, if that's actually hers or if it's something else.
No, I'm not gonna, like, be put on blast on, like, what her native accent is, but she's...
closer.
From the UK.
Yeah, it's closer.
Which blew my mind the first time I saw, like, behind the scenes for X. I was you gotta be fucking kidding me right now. Why does this keep happening to me? How many of you fucking filthy, limey Brits are gonna come over and steal our jobs?
Well, I think Jacob Elordi is, like, Australian. I don't even think he's British.
Another one.
But he does an American accent incredibly well, too. Like, I would have had no idea.
It's much easier for them, given just, like... not only like readily available theater training that's more predominant in Europe, but also like I think it comes down to like anatomy and like the design of like their palates and stuff. It's easier for them to emulate our accents than it is for us.
I mean, honestly, to them it might be similar, because it's just like... It might be similar to somebody not from Wisconsin doing a Wisconsin accent, you know what I mean? Where it's just you just kind of like enunciate just a little bit more and then suddenly you're there.
Right.
So which we'll get into about Chicago accents later.
Yeah.
It's full circle.
Jinx. Trying to think if there's... You'll get over it. I'm trying to think if there's any other things I want to say about Frankenstein. I just think... I guess a closing thought on Frankenstein for me is, like, fuck this new, like, straight-to-streaming model, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this should have just been a proper theatrical release. And I'm tired of people anytime someone's like, well, what if I need to go to the bathroom or something? It's like, then you go to the fucking bathroom.
That's what I did, and then I missed the wedding scene.
It's just like, I'm so sick and tired of people... whining about how it's easier to sit on their couch and watch things. Like,
I have,
a movie like this is meant to be seen on a big screen.
I
and
agree.
honestly, I wish we saw it on a bigger screen than what we saw it at.
Yeah,
Like, no
yeah,
disrespect to the theater we saw it at, but
Right.
I wish I saw it on a better screen.
Like, for me, I'm, like, a little torn, because accessibility is really important, and, like, not everybody can make it to the theater, so it is, and, you know, like, not every theater has subtitles, so having it available at home right away, you're able to get something like that if you're not able to hear, you know, or as well. And so I'm a little torn. I do think it is really important that people see or continue to see movies in theaters, but I feel like if COVID didn't kill the theater, like, maybe nothing will. Because
I don't think theaters are going to die. Like, COVID has drastically changed the model, and one that I don't approve of necessarily, but...
Yeah, and I do agree. I see why people do it, but but I
hate those people. There, I said it. You don't need to just nod with everything.
I suppose.
Say.
Well, no, because I see what you're saying. I just also see the other end of things where it's like
I also see what you're saying. Yeah, like accessibility, whether it be like physical or like hearing impairments.
Well,
or
and
like that.
I guess my problem is, like, because it was available streaming so soon, it was a very limited theater release. Like, I feel like they could have possibly done both and still succeeded.
Well, I mean,
because enough people wanted to see Frankenstein in theaters.
Yeah, and everything comes out so quickly on streaming now, whether it's to rent or just on your streaming like... It has to be specifically with, like, Netflix's
I believe
actual...
it is.
Because Rian Johnson's been going through the same thing with the Knives Out movie. Like, the new the last one and the new Knives Out movie is also going to do, like, a 2-week run and then be on Netflix. So it has to be something about fucking Netflix.
And the reason I know is actually, like, it's going to be a trivia question on Monday, so hopefully whoever's listening, come to trivia on Monday. But I don't think it'll be released in time.
I don't even know if this will be up by Monday,
But it doesn't matter. But, I learned that about Weapons, is that Netflix really tried to they pitched more money than New Line did to get Weapons, but they refused because they wanted a good theater run, which is admittedly kind of, I mean, that one's also beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's not beautiful in the same way, so it's almost amazing that they would, you know, stick to their guns more so than Guillermo del Toro would.
Sure, but that movie also it was one of the best theater experiences I've been through in a long time. Like, that movie you need to see with a group of people because you get everyone's reaction to the beats that he wanted you to have the reaction to.
I would say that's like... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's less, like, moments like that for Frankenstein, but Frankenstein also doesn't look like a Netflix movie. It looks like a fucking real movie.
Yeah. I would say, like, having other people's reaction is, like, the opposite reason why I go to theaters. I'm like, shut the fuck up, everybody. Watch the movie. Shut your mouth. You know?
That's insane to me. That's got to be one of the worst takes you've ever had.
I don't know. Like, I guess I'm more so talking about, like... I guess this comes down to, like, back when I saw Mandy, and I still feel like that scene where he's screaming in the bathroom didn't warrant, like, a crowd full of people laughing their asses off. I felt it was, like, so much more serious and could have been more serious if people shut the fuck up. But it's Nicolas Cage, so everyone had to laugh at him. I don't know. So I think
He's funny.
He is funny, but that scene wasn't funny. It was powerful.
Yeah.
It was a little funny.
It was a little funny. I did not, like, laugh at the scene in Mandy when I saw it in theaters. Other people did.
A lot of people did when I saw it. Like, everyone, like, burst into laughing, and I was like, fuck everybody in here. This is a powerful moment of acting right here.
Yeah,
it's hard not to laugh at Nicolas Cage, I know, but it's like, that's
funny man do the funny scream.
Yeah. Well, and, like, in Weapons, like, the last bit, when everybody's, like, cheering as the kids are, like, chasing it.
Yeah.
Like, that is fun to watch. Stuff like that is fun.
Dude, I would have paid, like, everyone that I know to come see me and Hurry Up Tomorrow with me had I known what a fucking disaster that movie would have been.
I mean, it is more fun if the movie's bad, if you're with people to, you know, witness it with. It's just, like, something like Frankenstein for me, I don't want to hear other people's reactions. I want to, like, feel the movie, watch the movie. It's not about...
You still felt the movie. You were crying on the way out of the theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just call me out, why don't you? I did. I cried so much, you guys. I was tearing up from the beginning just from the cinematography, and, like, last 30 minutes I was just bawling. Ugh. It's
a
honestly,
very sweet movie.
It's so well done. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Pretty. It's pretty.
Yeah, so ultimately, Frankenstein, see it. It's probably not in theaters anymore.
No.
Doubt,
Well, it's like, even like one of the local theaters, they have like a big main theater and then a back theater. Like, because it was so close to the streaming date, they showed it in the back theater and
they
it
didn't
sold
even
out.
show it in the main theater.
No.
You fucking...
No, it's not. I'm not talking about Oriental. But
what are you talking about?
I was talking about Avalon.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's because it was like right before the streaming date.
I didn't even know there was a second screen at Avalon.
Yeah. It's like, it's tiny, so it's sold out.
But imagine, because it's the same thing at Oriental, though, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you rate it out of 5?
Oh.
Don't think that hard.
It's honestly, I want to say a 5 right out the gate. It has to be, because it really hits, like, fucking everything for me. And the only qualm that I would maybe almost have is like, yeah, it's a long movie, and long movies are hard for me to sit through.
It didn't even feel that long.
It did not
to me.
feel long.
Like Nosferatu felt long.
Exactly.
To me.
Like the pacing was steady. It kept your interest. Different things were happening. Every scene looked like a fucking painting. Like
we ran into friend of the brand, Max Schaefer, outside the theater, and he thought the opening act was slow, and I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
I loved all the setup.
Well, and it's like, I feel like we needed that a little bit with Victor. Otherwise, you just fucking hate Victor, and I still kind of do. But like, I feel like
I don't hate Victor. He's
cool.
just misguided.
He's just giant man baby.
Well, yeah. Have you read Frankenstein, dude? Like. They're crazy, first off. Second off, that's who Frankenstein is.
Well, no, I'm not saying they did the character poorly. I just hate him.
Well...
So I hate him as a character.
Sometimes you need
If I read the book, I'm going to hate him then, too.
Sometimes, it's just one of those things, man. Sometimes... I give it 4.5 out of 5.
Damn. You got a 5 from me. I stand by me.
Yeah, I know. I hated it in comparison. No, I think it's great. I love a gothic romance. I love a gothic horror movie. I will say this: if you're going into this expecting a horror movie, maybe check your expectations.
It's gory, but
it's not scary though. Like
no.
I think. But, like, if you're familiar with Del Toro's work at this point, I think you'll probably come to expect that, because, like...
It's like a mix. It's like
even
romance.
Pan's Labyrinth, I wouldn't necessarily call scary.
No, it's just, like, unsettling.
Yeah, it's just, like, monsters.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's his whole thing, is finding beauty in the monsters, and I'm gonna cry. I love him so much.
Yeah, so, I love it. I think some of the character... I should rewatch it. I think some of the character relations could have been played up if that is the only reason why I gave it half of a star less than you.
That's still pretty solid, I think. So
4.5 out of 5.
Anywho,
yeah, that's pretty good.
A collective 4.75 means you should probably see this movie.
You probably should. It's one of my favorites of the year. Out of only the handful of movies that I've seen.
Yeah.
Right, you see fucking every movie.
I know, but this one might be my favorite. I mean, it could just be because it's like so fresh in my mind, like we were talking about with our lists in the last episode.
It's not my favorite of the year, but I would say currently it would probably be my third favorite of the year. I think Sinners and Weapons are better.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Sinners is... I don't know. Don't listen to me.
Well, I mean...
Well, you have to, because we've got more in store.
You're not doing great for retention rates here.
Yeah, I'm just never gonna shut up. That's what we're learning today.
But yeah, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is now streaming on Netflix. Hey, you remember Bloody Disgusting? Hey, you remember how Bloody Disgusting used to be this like really cool little independent rag that just talked about horror movies and horror movie news? And now they're like a production company. They produced the Toxic Avenger reboot. They're producing the upcoming Silent Night, Deadly Night remake and the new Silent Hill movie.
Oh boy.
They still do have the same rag that talks about horror movies and horror movie news. But they didn't mention anything about their darling boy, Damien Leone, and the Terrifier movies.
All right, so for context, I wrote all this down. I don't know if you did.
I
So
didn't. I didn't have time between work and here to.
So I'm going to explain what we're talking about because this is according to IndieWire. IndieWire reported on it. Catherine Corcoran, who played Dawn in the first Terrifier.
She's the one who gets sawn from Gooch to giblets in the first Terrifier.
Wow. Gooch to giblets. Woof. Okay.
That's what happens to
I
her.
know, but the wording, I need to sit in that for a second. Anyway.
I don't think you like me very much.
No, I love you. That's the problem. Oh, Gooch to giblets. Okay. Anyway, she has sued Damien Leone and producers, specifically naming Phil Falcone, who sounds like a piece of shit in my opinion.
They're all fucking Italian.
So, and it sounds like the producer is more so the problem than Damien Leone.
That is true. That much I read, yeah.
So, basically, they made an indie movie. She was paid $100 a day and was supposed to receive 1% of profits of the franchise and merchandising on the back end, and she is suing for that. The vibe I got is...
Also sexual assault allegations.
No. It's not sexual assault. It was sexual harassment from Phil Falcone.
Oh, okay.
Because this is kind of what I'm talking about here is there were things that went wrong with the effects. And it sounded like it was really poor working conditions, which isn't unheard of for a production like that at the time,
sure.
I would say.
Yeah. Well, especially, independent horror movies in general. It seems like everyone always has a bad time.
Right.
Just talk to Bruce Campbell.
So what she named were having to be, they used, real duct tape. Apparently she ended up in contact with actual rat feces. And they were making a silicone cast of her breasts, I believe, of her nude. And as she was getting the silicone cast made... something went wrong in the process, and they glued her to a piece of plywood by accident. They had to, painstakingly remove her. And it was horrible. But during that time, she was topless, and from how it sounds, or possibly completely naked. I'm guessing completely naked if they had to, saw the thing in half. So, at that point is when Phil Falcone took pictures, is what happened.
She might not have needed to be completely naked. She could have had, nudie... panties on.
Oh, and honestly, I'm thinking the issue is more so the fact that she's suffering and he's taking pictures,
yeah.
and I kind of insisted that we delve into this a little bit more because the first article I read was about other artists also getting involved with these allegations for grounds of suing in terms
of back pay.
In terms of back pay, and that stuff I have less patience for, simply because I think. When you go into an indie movie, you're not looking at the contracts as harshly, and I think it's quite possible that nobody knew where this was going in terms of profit.
Sure.
And I'm not saying she's not owed; she is owed. It's just reworking the language of an existing contract, or just sticking to the original contract.
Yeah.
I could see. And I'm not saying, it sounds very much like she is due money. And so I'm, here for that. And the other artists, too, it does sound like people were left out of the mix that shouldn't have been. But I also... My problem is the way that Damien Leone is approaching this is like a businessman.
Yeah.
Which is, he's not fucking saying shit. He's letting lawyers handle shit. And unfortunately, to some degree, that I kind of understand. Because it is complicated. It gets complicated. And it's not fair that she's not getting anything from it. Of course. She's due the money.
It's also entirely possible that he was not involved in... from the little I know about the Hollywood machine, the director isn't often involved in the actual, signing of contracts and whatnot.
Well,
it comes down to the producers.
Yeah, so that's why...
Because Damien Leone was probably on a contract of his own.
Yeah, and truthfully, it's And I'm sure he's making fat money because he's continuing to direct these movies that are worth a lot. But it's you have to remember the second one was fan-backed, so they really weren't making money yet. Mm-hmm. And they probably didn't really make money until...
No one expected Terrifier 2 to become, what
I'm sure everyone hoped that it would. And it's also, I think, part of the problem is just, the climate around it, because if you follow, oh fuck, I didn't write down his name, who plays Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So if you follow him politically,
I almost said David Gordon Green.
Nope.
Nope.
But if you follow him politically, he's super outspoken, and I agree with basically everything he says. He's like super just like pro the people.
He seems like a good dude.
But then Damien Leone came out and was basically like, Terrifier is not political in any way, you know? Which of course because he's approaching it like a businessman.
Yeah.
I'm sure his lawyers were like, shut the fuck up and just, you know, cater to everybody real quick for us so that you can continue to make your money.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm saying that it's not surprising. I guess that's my only argument to this whole thing, is I'm not surprised by any of it. I'm not surprised that she got mistreated in the first one, because it sounds like it was very like DIY, and it was like
that first movie had a really small budget. Like even in comparison to Terrifier 2, it had like an eighth of the budget of Terrifier 2. I want to say it was like $300,000.
I'm sure.
Versus like the $1.5 million or something that Terrifier 2 had.
And it's like,
which still isn't even a big budget.
No, and Terrifier 2, it was like I said, it was fan backed.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like it was like this big Hollywood machine straight out the gate. So I get how stuff went wrong, and I'm not saying it's a good thing or that it's fair, but I'm not surprised. And it's like, and I do hope that she gets more pay, and it is not, again, also not surprising to me that Bloody Disgusting didn't say shit, because I'm sure this whole time they were just like, yeah, go watch Terrifier, make us a bunch of money.
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
let's make money,
they're a producer, yeah, I don't know.
Phil Falcone sounds like a dick.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The only reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we've never really talked about the Terrifier movies on this podcast, and I'm not a fan. So when I first read this news, I had like a little victory dance in my head.
I knew it.
I was like, fuck yes, finally, fuck these people. Like, I don't know, like, it's a very fine line in terms of, like, what I consider bad taste in horror movies, because, I'm fuck's sake, I'm an Italian horror movie fan from the golden age when, like, Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci were also doing horrendous shit to women in movies, probably on camera, obviously, but probably off camera, too. Lucio Fulci sounds like a fucking nightmare. And
I actually didn't know that, so, but yeah, it's kind of par for the course, unfortunately.
But it's just
it
like,
should be different, but it's
one of those things where it's like, the ideas in the Terrifier movies are so grotesquely over the top and disgusting that are dressing up what is essentially a paper-thin slasher movie.
Yeah.
Like, Art the Clown is a great idea on paper, but what is he? A supernatural killer. Hooray.
Yeah.
Why does he need to, like, flay women alive and saw them in half? It's fucking torture porn.
It is. And honestly, like,
and Damien Leone, I'm very sorry. I'm heated now. Damien Leone has sounded so fucking arrogant in every, like, press release.
I haven't even read any, or, like, really...
Oh, my God. In every press release for Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3, it's like, yeah, I just want to push the boundaries. Like, I knew a real Hollywood studio wouldn't make Terrifier 3 based on the first 10 pages of the script. Bloody Disgusting let me have that opportunity. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude.
Well, it's like, just, I don't know, like... At least Eli Roth seems like a cool guy, because, like, he makes movies like that, too.
Sure.
But I'm like, I would, like, hang out with Eli Roth. But this dude does sound like a dick.
Eli Roth is making, like, grindhouse, like, exploitation movies, and to a degree, like, Damien Leone is, but he's, like, again, like, there's no more interesting idea outside of the striking image of Arthur. It's an eye-catching killer.
Yeah.
But why is he, like, the most horrifically disgusting killer in any horror movie I've seen?
Well, yeah, and, like, I guess the part... I'm not partial to Terrifier by any means.
It's like your favorite movie.
It's
you
not.
Said that on the way over here.
I did not say that. I debated bringing this up because I didn't know the facts surrounding it. But now that I know the facts surrounding it, I am like, all right, yeah, maybe fuck this guy a little bit.
Yeah.
But, so I guess my only defense is I like the idea of making, like, a do-it-yourself horror film and, like really, like, working your way in and then making a franchise out of it. I think that's neat. You know, I think
sure.
like,
will always be supportive of independent horror makers, but
so
Damien Leone seems like an edgelord 12-year-old.
Well, and it's like, I have some friends who like those movies, so I don't want to discredit them. But, like, anybody I don't know personally that I've interacted with that's, like, wearing a Terrifier shirt, I'm always a little bit like, I don't think I trust you.
That's a huge red flag. If anyone, I don't care if they're a friend of mine or not, if anyone, and I'm talking to all of you, if you ever come up to me and say in earnest that Terrifier 2 is one of your favorite horror movies, that is a red flag, and we're going to need to, like, seriously discuss our friendship.
He means he's going to beat him up.
Yeah. I don't know. Damien Leone seems... he could be the nicest guy on the planet, and he's not going to fucking hear this, so fuck it. You seem like an edgelord 12-year-old boy that is drawing stick figures being mutilated in your notebook, and someone gave you money to make that movie.
I just kind of wish, like... I wish he had a little bit more of a backbone, because I like... honestly, I think my favorite part of Terrifier is David Howard Thornton. That's his name? David Howard Thornton?
David Gordon
Not
Green,
David Gordon Green. I almost said the other way because I were talking about it.
Yeah.
But, because he seems great, and I love...
He does seem great. He seems genuinely nice.
And I think that's really cool, and I think it's a cool opportunity for him. I like the mime thing. I think it's fun to have a mime being terrifying.
Yeah, why is Art the Clown? Why is he a mime?
It's catchy.
Damien Leone couldn't even get that right.
It's catchy. Art the Clown. Art the Mime doesn't have the same ring to it.
I know, it was one of them rhetorical questions.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is, he's not even a fucking clown.
You are correct. And you know, it's my favorite movie.
I don't know, this just gives me pause. I didn't catch that until it was too late. That's funny. This just gives me pause because, like, hearing what you're saying about the very businessman standpoint, obviously he's got a fourth movie coming down the tubes.
That's how he feels.
He doesn't want to derail that. I get that. Yeah. Don't color me surprised if more shit comes out that's less business and more gross.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, there are wonderful human beings that come up with horrific shit to be put to screen. Like, you think about, like, Wes Craven.
Yeah.
And, like, people like that. It's something about Damien Leone I just do not fucking trust. Like, yeah. I don't know. And I'd be happy to be proved wrong. He donates all the proceeds of Terrifier 4 to charity. He fucking won't. But
it would be cool if he used this to maybe, like...
Clown college or...
It'd be cool if he used this to, like, turn this all around a little bit. Because, like, it doesn't sound like he's trying to, like, discredit anybody, which is good. So I'm guessing he is in the works of, like, okay, we need to work this out. Because I couldn't find anything about him addressing these allegations yet. So I'm guessing he is trying to work something out rather than just, like, take it publicly. Because, like, he could be, like, fucking Sydney Sweeney after her, like, American Eagle bullshit and just, like, being in an interview being smirky and not giving a shit about all of her terrible choices.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's such a tangent. I don't even want to get into it. There's just this, Sydney Sweeney, I don't think I like her anymore.
Okay.
Makes me sad because I really liked Immaculate, but I don't think I like her anymore. That's it. We don't need to talk about it.
I never had a horse in her race anyway, because I don't know, like, apparently she's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't even remember her. Like, I don't even know what I've seen with her in it. Like,
Euphoria! Another Euphoria! I know that.
God, I wish people would stop talking about this fucking show.
But it's, fucking everybody's
I get it. It's the fucking zeitgeist. Or whatever. Like,
it's also, it was. It was well done. It was cool. And I do think Sydney Sweeney was a good actress then. I think she made some good movies.
I didn't see
I think she might suck as a person, though.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up Sydney Sweeney right fucking now.
She's the pretty one with the boobs.
I know that she's the pretty one with the boobs. Oh, I'm trying to find out what I've seen her in.
Oh.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Everything that I know
Under the Silver Lake, don't remember her in it.
Oh, I don't remember her in that one either.
The Ward.
What?
I haven't.
Oh, no, she's young in that one. I remember that.
I was going to say that movie came out in like 2011. That movie's not very good. and I don't remember that movie.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying The Ward until the twist and then thought it sucked.
I
and,
don't remember.
Soured the whole experience. But I don't remember what the twist was. I just remember
I think I was drunk for the whole thing, and that's why I liked it.
All I know is that, I don't think a lot of people would be hard-pressed to name that as, John Carpenter's worst movie.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
But there you go. I don't know, maybe that was interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's something to talk about. It is something to talk about. The fact that Bloody Disgusting hasn't addressed it is fucked up.
Well, I know Bloody Disgusting wasn't going to... It's just... I'm pissed about this Silent Hill movie coming out, too.
You're just mad at Bloody Disgusting.
Well,
that's the point.
I am, because, now that they're a production company, they're promoting all their movies that they're doing, and I get it, they have to, but now I keep seeing reel after reel of, fan reactions outside the theater, the new Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, and maybe it'll be awesome. But also, something about it is already souring me on it, because it was the same thing with Black Christmas 2019.
I didn't see that one.
Oh my god, that movie's bad. That movie
that's
is
what I've
eight
heard.
kinds
That's why
of...
I didn't see it.
You would actually
probably like it.
I don't know
the
if
most
you. I don't
derogatory
know
thing
if
you
you would.
could say.
I don't know if you would like it, but I'd be genuinely curious to have you see it and get your thoughts on it, because it. God, here we go. Real quick, it is overtly a feminist horror movie. It's written and directed by women. They wanted to make a feminist horror movie first and foremost.
I'm here for that.
I do not know who this movie is for, because it is laughable in every account.
I kind of wonder if they did with that what they did to the new Craft, where it's they just did everything to make it caterable to teens.
That's exactly what the new Black Christmas.
But the problem is it's adults trying to cater to teens, so I don't think those teens even give a fuck about it. It's anybody who would be watching it are just kind of who is this for?
The reveal in the Black Christmas remake. It is played straight, but it feels like parody.
Okay.
It does not feel like anything that could be taken seriously by any free-thinking person, male or female or non-binary.
That's fair.
But either way, I'm having deja vu, because the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake was announced, only a handful of months ago, and it's coming out, next month.
I'm gonna have to see it.
I do want to see it, because I like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, I'm curious how they would approach that in this day and age.
I don't know. But I'm also just worried it's going to be, a mindless, splat flick and nothing else, which... I don't know, it's weird saying that about Silent Night, Deadly Night, because that's kind of what the first movie is, but maybe it's just me having a kinder eye on the innocence of... No, it was a business end, too, in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know, movies have always sucked.
No. No.
Before we move on to our next topic, I'm going to throw up a general trigger warning.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be getting into some heavier topics about real-life serial killers, given some more recent media based around them that have come out. So if you are sensitive to real-life tales of crime, murder, sexual assault... Maybe catch us next time, because it's gonna get a little dark here.
True. Yes. that's all I got. Yeah, this was a bleak. I realized as I was finishing this that I was oh man, I went down a dark rabbit hole there for a minute, because I binged.
Oh sure, yeah.
So I was ugh.
I know,
I'm kind of glad to be on the other end.
That's how I felt reading this book last night before bed. I was nice light nighttime reading.
So basically, this is how I wanted to preface this, is that Ryan Murphy made the Monster series there's one about Dahmer, there's one about the Menendez brothers, and there's one more recent about Ed Gein. And I watched Dahmer, it was fine. I have feelings about that. I don't know if I should get into them or not, but it's less about the quality of the content. I think it's good that it focused on the victims a little bit more than media previously had. And I didn't watch the Menendez brothers one because it looked like he was trying to make it too sexy, like Ryan Murphy tends to do. And then Ed Gein, I watched 5 minutes of it, and I couldn't get through it because he tried to make Ed Gein sexy, and I wasn't here for that. So, point being, we decided to watch other things that were also about serial killers instead.
So you're gonna be covering. I don't even know what it's actually called.
Okay,
it's two new shows on Peacock.
On
right?
Peacock, it's Devil in Disguise. It's about John Wayne Gacy. So obviously this one is a little bit bleak, but they put out both a biopic and a docuseries, and I really think that format was just genius because I like a little fiction in my horror, I guess. So I started with the biopic, and it was really well done, and then the docuseries, which obviously elaborated on that, and then
I'll be talking about the book and mini-series I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which is covering the Golden State Killer.
I couldn't even remember what killer you were doing.
Yeah, well, he has multiple, media, I don't know, names, I guess. Pseudonyms, yeah. Because he became later, I'll get into it, but he became more widely known as the Golden State Killer, but he's also been known as the East Area Rapist. I told you, this is going to be fun. And the Visalia Ransacker.
Okay. Ransacker.
Well, because, as we'll get into it, this guy was busy for a while. But there is a book called I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which in 2020 they turned into a docu-miniseries on HBO. Fascinating story. Led by a very fascinating woman, but I'll get into that after we go through yours here.
Okay. So as I said, I started with the biopic, and then I got into the documentary. I would actually recommend doing that if you're approaching this, because I think it's a little bit better to sort of start with the basics, which is what the biopic covers. It just kind of covers basically what is proven to be true versus speculation, whereas the documentary brings in the sort of questions that are left over, so you can kind of you can learn a little bit more and still be left with, some concerns about the police force, I suppose. Because that's really what all these, I don't know about yours, but in every serial killer story, that's really what they have in common, is that the cops did not do a good job. And
I'll get into it with mine.
Okay. So with this one, that was the thing with Dahmer that I liked was they showed how incompetent the Milwaukee cops were.
Yeah.
Because, especially in that time, that was right when Wendy O. Williams was, beaten and raped by Milwaukee cops. Mm-hmm. I think that happened fucking twice.
Sure.
And then Dahmer came around, and they were just like, oh, well, you're only targeting minorities and queers, so what do we care? Just fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So that Dahmer series actually does touch on that, which I do appreciate. Just because, there was no representation of that. So I'm not trying to, completely discredit that series. But getting into, what I actually did watch and what I want to talk about, I think they did an incredible job with Devil in Disguise. Michael Chernus plays... I hope I'm saying that right, because it sounds ridiculous. But Michael Chernus as Gacy really blew me away. You might have seen him in Severance or in Orange is the New Black. In Severance, he played... Adam Scott's, my God, what's the term? Brother-in-law.
Oh.
And, and then in Orange is the New Black, he plays Piper's brother. But they definitely don't try to make him sexy, which is what the issue I had with the whole Monster series is Ryan Murphy just wants everything to be sexy and campy, and that's really hard to do when you're talking about real victims, so maybe not the best move. And this series, the biopic, every episode is named after one of his victims or a couple of his victims. And it was really about that. It was about telling their story and keeping their names alive. And I thought that was beautiful. It starts following. So I'm going to kind of explain what happened with Gacy a little bit so that you guys know, and this is what I learned, but you should still watch it because it's honestly, it's beautifully filmed even. There are a lot of really good shots in this, and the acting is just incredible. Marin Ireland plays the mother of this teenager, Rob Peast, who goes missing. And so that is the actual kid who is the reason Gacy got caught. Because this was, as opposed to being in Chicago, this was in Des Plaines. which I was like, I had to make sure that's how you say it, because I was like, are they just like making fun of Chicagoans at this point, or is apparently that's how they say it, or how it's supposed to be said.
It's also, there's like Des Moines, Iowa. They don't pronounce the S there.
But in Des Plaines, it's supposed to be Des Plaines, apparently.
Sure.
I don't know. That's how they said it. I'm sticking to it. Des
Plaines.
But because this is like a smaller suburb, the cops, I think, were... And so I say, like, often that the cops did a bad job. I feel kind of torn in this one, because it honestly just sounds like it was disorganized.
Sure.
And it did lead to them sort of, like, fixing the way that the districts, like, communicate to each other. Which
when
I think...
was John Wayne Gacy?
So he was caught in, I believe, 1978.
Yeah, a lot of that also comes down to just, like, resources and stuff, too, not being what they are now.
But because he was in a suburb, suddenly people were really paying attention, because it was like, they had less to worry about. There was no crime there.
Yeah.
But, so, the cops then, so they know that Rob Peast is missing and that he was supposed to talk to a guy named Gacy. They question Gacy. Gacy kind of tries to just be like, nah, I'm busy, whatever. And then... As they're, like, looking into this dude, they realize that he was in prison for statutory rape, and he was supposed to serve 10 years, but only served 18 months. Now, that part is where the cops fucked up. He basically was just, like, a model prisoner, and so they were like, fuck it, let's let this guy go. Totally fucked up. But, you know, the cops tailed him then while they were getting, oh my god, what's the term? To search. A warrant to search his home. And when they get the first search warrant, they search his house, they find suspicious items, not necessarily stuff related to Rob Peast, but things like handcuffs. I had to look up the name of these. Pillory, which are like stocks, but where your hands are like locked up by your head. And a class ring that were not his initials, it was somebody else's initials, and that comes in later. It is one of his victims. And they also found porn, like gay porn, like violent porn, and a receipt from the pharmacy that would have been in Peast's jacket. Then, let's see. At that point, so they get into there's this kid, David Cram, that they get into a little bit later in the biopic, but they talk about him a little bit earlier in the docuseries, because Gacy basically tried to pin a lot of this on David Cram. He was like I believe he was it was between 17 and 19. I'm sorry, I couldn't find the actual age he was at the time. But that's when they found out that he was digging trenches under Gacy's house for him, but they didn't really know why. And while Gacy is getting tailed, he then, while he's getting tailed, he actually invited the cops into his home and, like, served them dinner. And a lot of moments in this biopic series, I was like, oh, there's no way he actually said that. But when you watch the docuseries, you're like, oh, no, he actually fucking said that.
Yeah.
And this is one of them, is he's like, yeah, he's explained to them that he likes to dress up as a clown, that he's, like, clowning. And it's because, you know, if you really like a girl, you can, like, cop a feel and she won't say anything because you're a clown. You know, clowns can get away with murder. He said that to one of the cops.
There'll be a similar something I'm going to bring up when I get to my discussion. Almost arrogance with a lot of these, like, psychopaths that border on, like, you'll never catch me, like.
Well, and so the idea of this dude is that he was hiring, like, specifically teenage boys to help him with the construction. I don't know how much you know about Gacy, but that's what he was doing. And there were tons of kids around this age going missing throughout Chicago. A lot of people were reporting this guy named Gacy, but because districts didn't talk to each other, nobody really questioned him, or if they did, it was sort of minimal. But after he invites these cops into his house, one of them smells decaying flesh from his basement. They smell the bodies. Mm-hmm. So the next, let's see, is it the next day? I don't know. Very soon after that, Gacy, like, drunkenly goes to his lawyers and confesses everything. And And they even tell, because the cops are still tailing him at this point, one of them even tells the cops, if he tries to leave, shoot his tires out. Again, real line that happened.
Yeah.
I thought that was fictionalized for the biopic. Really happened.
Yeah.
So Gacy speeds away. His first stop is, I guess he went to a gas station to drop off some weed. I don't know who the kid was that he dropped it off to, so like I didn't even get into that, but I was like, what the fuck? But so he did that. The next thing he goes to David Cram's house. Now, David Cram, he was hired by Gacy, and he worked with him, and he was also one of the only ones left alive. And like I said, he's also somebody that Gacy kept bringing up later to try to sort of pin it on. But so he goes to Cram's house. They drive to a restaurant. Gacy goes in. Cram goes over to the cops and he's like, hey man, this dude just confessed to killing 33 people. And so they actually arrested him because of the marijuana.
Oh, wow.
But so at that point, I believe they were able to get a second search warrant. And then finally when they did, they went into the crawl space under his house where they found 27 bodies. They found another one buried under his garage and another one buried under his driveway. And later he would confess to 4 more that he dumped into the river via the I-55 bridge, including this missing person, Rob Peast. So the biopic follows Rob Peast's mother sort of like begging anybody to give a shit, and the Plains cops do give a shit, and that's how he got caught. So like I don't want to like say that they didn't help in getting this dude caught, but yeah. So then the docuseries follows. So that's basically it. Is they get into David Cram a little bit. They show some of the backstories. That's more fictionalized, I believe, of the backstories of like the actual victims, because obviously they're not there to account the stuff.
Yeah.
But the docuseries actually is based on interviews that somebody who was like a pen pal with Gacy while he was in prison, that he interviewed him and filmed it, and that's what this docuseries is based on, is what he's saying.
Okay.
So you actually like, it's like you're talking to Gacy, and it's really fucked up after like watching that series.
Yeah.
Because they did a really good job about making him just like deeply unsettling while also being like schmoozy and like trying to be funny, but like it's not coming across as funny. It's coming across as like trying to be funny, and it's just like really gross. But another thing they touch on, and this was just fucking heartbreaking to me, was when Gacy got caught, he was out on bond for assaulting a man. And this is a grown man who was gay, but he chloroformed him. He chloroformed him so many times and so badly that he had burns on his face.
Jesus.
He beat him, all of it, assaulted him, like just horrific stuff. And when he went to the cops, that was the situation in which they were basically like, well, isn't this just some gay stuff or whatever, you know, and just implying just the worst thing. And in the biopic series, I found out that there was, like, in the law about assault, men were not included. So, like, men were not legally victims of rape according to the law.
Yeah.
So
which is nuts.
It's
when
nuts.
You told me that was nuts.
And that just, like, I had to, like, Google that. They didn't actually change it until 2013.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Jesus Christ. And it's like, no wonder, you know, people like Dahmer got away with what they did. It's because, like, as long as you were above 18, nobody gave a fuck. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, and not
further victimization of, like, people in the LGBT community, too.
Well, and even, like, when you're watching the docuseries, you start to, like, see that the news cycles really tried to paint all of these kids as, like, hustlers and prostitutes, or sex workers. I mean, prostitutes at the time.
Yeah.
But, like, and it was just, like, it was so messed up, because, like, these were kids. Like, they were teenagers. And even if some of them were, like, sex workers at the time, like, they were hired for, like, work. They weren't hired to be, like, murdered, you know? And it was just, like, just horrific. And I mean, Gacy tried to paint it that way, too. Like, in his final interviews, because this interview that they're recording, I think, happened, like, maybe a few months before he was set to be executed. Which, like, I also find out that they they wouldn't let the families of the victims watch him be executed, which was weird. That was real.
Is weird.
I don't know why. I mean, it could just be because there's so fucking many of them.
Yeah.
You know, because this is 33 bodies.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just the amount that he confessed to. Like, I guess to one of the investigators, as this investigator Tovar, he was like driving him around, like to and from, I believe. I don't know. He's taking him to court, and like, while they're talking, he's like, so how many was it? Like, you're probably going to get convicted. Like, how many bodies was it actually? Because, like, he never really had a round number.
Yeah.
And he was like, why don't we say 45? 45 sounds like a good number.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck you, buddy. Like,
that's crazy.
And it's just, like, so fucked up. But what's crazy to me is, like, this dude really went all the way to the end, just insisting that he was basically innocent. He tried to pin it on, like, 3 of his employees, you know, which are, again, teenagers. Like, whether the oldest they could have been was like 19.
Yeah.
And he kept, and I guess, like, this is where, like, the questions come in, is like, I fully think that Gacy was, like, entirely at fault, but he did have these kids digging the trenches, and he had them digging the trenches because he basically couldn't fit. Like, he had a bad back, and it was, like, only a limited amount of space. And so a lot of, like, the victims' families were like, yeah, dude, they probably helped kill the people, too, or, like, they at least buried the bodies.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm also, like, even if that's the case, I'm like, he was manipulating them.
Yeah,
you know, and
manipulation, coercion.
That's all it is. It's like they were under his employment. They were young. He's like, I mean, he's 36 when this is happening. These are, like, 19-year-old kids at oldest.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think, like I said, Rob Peace was, like, 15. So it's like, I don't know. I think that's just so, like, it's just so manipulative. Like, he was just trying to paint this narrative like there's no way. Well, and the whole time that they're, like, following him, he's so confident that they're not going to do anything. It wasn't, they were following him for, like, 10 days, and it wasn't until, like, the last 2 or 3 that he was even remotely nervous, that he acted remotely nervous.
Yeah.
And I just, like, the confidence in this motherfucker. Frankly, I think you should watch this if you're into serial killer fiction or serial killer documentaries. Either way. Yeah. True crime. Because, like, I do think it was well executed. Just like Gacy, it was well executed. No, he wasn't. They almost fucked it up. It took them a long time to actually kill the bastard.
That's crazy.
But they don't romanticize it at all. It is from, like, it is treating the victims with, like, respect and kindness. Like, even if they were, like, gay, even if people knew they were gay, or if they, like, if the character that they're portraying was, like, a male prostitute or a sex worker at the time, like, they approach it in a gentle way. And, like, and they do bring about in the docuseries some, like, interesting questions about, like follow through to some degree, because there's, like, a whole other location that people complained about that they wanted them to dig, and cops there were 17 spots that, like, somebody, sorry, it's, like, a whole other part of it, and I don't want to give everything away, because I do think you should watch it, and it's on Peacock.
Yeah.
But there's another property that somebody used ground penetrating radar to, like, scan, because people were complaining about Gacy being at this property late at night, digging trenches with, like, heavy garbage bags, like, huge garbage bags, stuff like that, and multiple complaints, like, recorded at the time, and nobody really did anything. And so they used ground penetrating radar later. They found 17 anomalies in this ground, and cops dug up 2 and then called it a day.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to unpack with Gacy. It's like, it is a problem in, like, the police force. Like, of course it is, because that's what it always comes down to, is, like, something fell through the cracks. And this dude shouldn't have fallen through the cracks for, like, so many reasons. The fact that he got out on bond when he, like, brutally assaulted somebody, but it was basically just because they were gay, I'm guessing, that they just let him go like it was nothing, even though he had a case of statutory rape already on his record. And that wasn't even, like, the first complaint he had. He had, like other people tried reporting him when he lived in Iowa. A bunch of people throughout Chicago complained about him. It's just, like, it's just so much surrounding this dude that it's like, if he would have actually served his, like, 10-year prison sentence for the first case of statutory rape versus being released after 18 months, like, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ugh, yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, a lot of that also comes down to, and this is not me trying to, like, discredit the fact, like, he should have been in the full 10 years. A lot of that comes down to, like, budget and manpower and stuff. Like, if you've got a criminal serving good time, or, like, doing good time, it's just, like, it's a jail cell they could be using.
Frankly, they should have kept him, because he got them a golf course, that prison. There was like the prison he was in, he was like, so he was
so you're saying that money wasn't an issue, or?
I mean, I'm guessing not.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he got a golf course, because I don't know if it was like a mini golf course or what, but they were like dismantling it for whatever reason, and he persuaded them to donate it to the prison so that they could golf.
Weird.
Yeah, dude like worked in the kitchen and like.
Yeah.
Was all, like, chummy with all of the prison guards and stuff. It's totally fucked. Yeah. The way this dude could just manipulate. I'm so glad that motherfucker's dead.
Yeah. No
Holy
kidding.
Shit.
That's weird. Joseph James D'Angelo would tell 15-year-old Chris Pendretti, his 10th victim, at the time when he was still known as the East Area Rapist, with a blade to her throat, "Do as I say, or you'll be silent forever, and I'll be gone in the dark."
Oh, I get it. That's the title.
There is the title for what would become a novel, a true crime novel that author Michelle McNamara would write to basically bring more attention to who she dubbed the Golden State Killer. Now, the Golden State Killer is a moniker that she created in a 2013 Los Angeles Magazine article she wrote about him that was titled "In the Steps of a Killer," in the footsteps of a killer, if I remember correctly. Because, as I've learned, Sacramento and other parts of California, especially in the 70s, unfortunately had so many cases of, like, serial rape that most of the time the acts of Joseph James D'Angelo weren't even news. Yeah. Now, Joseph James D'Angelo, as I said, is also known as the Golden State Killer. He's also known as the East Area Rapist. He's also known as the Visalia Ransacker. He's also known as the original Night Stalker. Now, this was sort of an accident. One of the cops on the case, when they were reopening his case, said that this man is the original Night Stalker, who was a serial killer, I'm forgetting the name of, that was active between 1984 and 1985. Is that
Richard Ramirez?
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
Richard Ramirez.
1984 to 1985. He was, sort of to his chagrin, the name original Night Stalker stuck, which is confusing. But
honestly, that's a cool fucking name, though.
Yeah. So, a little backstory here. Michelle McNamara is a crime writer, true crime writer. She created a blog website, and I believe had a podcast as well, called The True Crime Diary. Oh, she was an avid true crime fanatic, interest for answers that was spurred on when on August 1st, 1984, a woman in her hometown of Oak Park, Illinois, named Kathleen Lombardo was murdered, and to this day has still been unsolved. According to the book, this was also spurred on by the fact that two boys she knew growing up found the body, and not only that, think they met the killer that night. To a less fun degree. Like that was any fun at all.
Yeah, like, it was getting worse.
Well, I mean, it was... Oh, man. Oh, God, really bungling this. This is why I don't talk about true crime and talk about fucking clowns.
No, the clowns are worse.
True. It's true. You know what? Why do I even have a show? Why? This was a bad idea from the jump. Anyway... September 1st, 1992, when McNamara is working in Belfast, she is sexually assaulted by a man that she works for. This spurred on a lifelong, as she puts it, obsession of like true crime and an idea of taking the power away from these monsters by putting a name to the face.
Yeah, okay.
And like I said at the top, so James, forgot his name already. Joseph James D'Angelo was active between 1974 to 1986. It wasn't until people started connecting dots that these seemingly unrelated crimes started to read more like someone advancing in their criminology, essentially. A little bit more on the book before we get into all of this. The first edition of the book was published on February 27th, 2018. Now, this is important because Michelle McNamara, unfortunately, as the subtitle of the book says, one woman's obsessive pursuit of the Golden State Killer, it really was an obsession. Oh. She was getting unprescribed pills and eventually developed an opioid addiction to fuel her work. And it resulted in her death in 2016. Aww. They found a combination of Adderall, Xanax, and fentanyl in her system, and this was coupled with an undiagnosed cardiovascular issue that I can't pronounce that also contributed to her death. Now, she is survived by her daughter and her husband at the time, Patton Oswalt.
What?
Yeah, Patton Oswalt is actually a big help in getting this story finished and told, and also...
He seems like such a nice guy.
And also in the resulting capture of Joseph James D'Angelo. Yeah.
Where am I? This is amazing. Yours is cooler than mine.
Well, wait till we get into the nitty-gritty here. The book was completed by crime writer Paul Holes, who also was a detective before he became a crime writer, investigative journalist Bill Jensen, and Patton Oswalt. The Visalia Ransacker is the first sort of moniker...
It's the coolest name.
Assigned to D'Angelo. There's a series of rather brazen and bizarre... burglaries happening in the Visalia area. You'd often find in the women's bedrooms their undergarments scattered about, and everything that was stolen was usually of very little consequence. It was like coin collections, earrings, cufflinks. Oftentimes they'd find them like dumped somewhere outside of where the place was ransacked. And the more alarming thing is he stole several weapons and different types of ammunition from these homes.
Oh boy.
These things, as you go on to learn about this guy, he is very meticulous in what he's taking, and it reads like he's stockpiling sort of like, I don't know, an arsenal for himself. Modus operandi includes climbing fences and moving through established routes, such as parks, walkways, ditches, and trails. He was also briefly known as like the Creekside Killer because in one of the locations, and then I'm going to be fussy with a lot of these locations because at the beginning of the book there's a map of California, or like the southern area of California. And he's doing shit in a bunch of different places. Yeah. But in one of the locations, he became briefly known as the Creekside Killer because the places he was attacking was right by a creek for, like, easy escape.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Attempting to pry open multiple points of entry, particularly windows, leaving multiple points of escape open, especially windows, as well as the house, garage, and garden doors. Oftentimes in the book, you'll see point of entry being like patio doors through backyards and stuff. Moving removed window screens onto beds or into bedrooms. placing warning items such as dishes or bottles against doors and on door handles, and wearing gloves given the absence of fingerprints. Now, this is where, I should also say, he was convicted of 13 murders, 51 plus rapes.
Jesus,
that
fuck.
were accounted for, and 120 plus burglaries. Again, this was between the 1974 to 1986.
Jesus Christ.
So a long fucking time. Now this is when different precincts or different police county polices start to draw the dots and try to connect them, because the MO is remarkably similar to what became known as the East Area Rapists, and this was between the time of 1906 and 1979. There are similarities to the MO in terms of climbing fences, jimmying locks, tearing off screens. Most alarming is he started attacking women when they were home alone, to the point where he would monitor them, stalk them, hang up phone calls to get a feel for when they would be in the house. He eventually, for lack of a better phrase, graduated to attacking couples when they were in their home. Oof. He would shine a flashlight in their face, daze them, disorient them. He would command the woman to tie up their partner while he would take the woman into other rooms of the house and attack them.
Oh, boy.
This also, similarities in the fact of the stacking of plates as an alarm device. He would set china, coffee cups, stuff on the man's back, and told them that if he heard any jingling of the plates, everyone in the house is gonna fucking die.
Jesus.
Normally, and sometimes there would be children in the house. He would sometimes have the children come in and watch. But yeah, and then let's see here. There's a through line that the surviving victims, before he would again move on to murder, is that he always spoke with a very sort of guttural, gravelly voice, as if through gritted teeth. However, he would sometimes get so frenzied that his voice would rise into a higher pitch and he would stutter. He would also often snack after or while he's finished.
I'm so sorry.
There is a recollection in the book that
not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting.
In between, either after he was finished or in between sessions, for lack of a better phrase, he went to the kitchen and devoured a box of Ritz crackers and half a cantaloupe.
What the fuck? I'm so taken aback.
Yeah, he was also the common description was he would always wear a hood of some sort or a mask, usually a ski mask. Different types of ski masks. Sometimes the whole face would be cut out. Sometimes it would just be the eyes. Sometimes there was an instance where it was like a welder's mask. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because I couldn't quite figure it out. Again, there might have also been inconsistencies. I should also mention, it's been a while since I've seen the documentary miniseries, and I haven't finished the book yet. So, this is all research I've done outside of this. There was this idea of him being a juvenile attacker, because when he was still known as the East Area Rapist, he was attacking people pantsless. And the other common description is he had, and that's why they had this idea of juvenility to him, because it was just, in terms of the way they describe it in the book, is that the sort of pantsless rapist, as they call it, shows a lot of inexperience, or a lot of frazzleness, a lot of ill-preparedness.
Bananas.
Now, he would also be seen wearing sort of army cargo, khaki pants. The common descriptor, and theory as to his sort of anger and hatred towards women is he had a very small penis.
Oh.
Borderline micro penis from some descriptions I've read. Now, this, of course, led, like you were talking about the cops earlier, led a lot of the cops at the time to theorize, oh, he's obviously some fairy who's mad that,
Oh my God, yeah.
like, yeah, just, like, total bullshit blowhard, like, 70s cop stuff. And then he would also, like, taunt the victims, normally, like, like I said in the opening, with the threats, but when he sort of moved on to murder, he would, or not even move on to murder, if he was attacking a couple in their home, he would give them contradicting, like, requests. He would, like, tell the woman, like, I better hear on every radio station, every television station about me today, or I'm going to come back and kill you. And he would tell the man, if I hear anything about this tomorrow, I'm going to come back here and kill
Christ.
you. Now, this also led, he, like I was talking about arrogance, he was a cocky son of a bitch.
They always are.
They always are. He was sending poetry, like, written, like, notes to the cops. He also called the cops multiple times. On December 2nd, 1977, and I do apologize, this gets graphic, he calls the Sacramento Police Department saying, "You're never going to catch me, East Area rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm going to fuck again tonight. Be careful." He also said December 9th, 1977, "Merry Christmas, it's me again." And then, he called his 21st rape victim. He didn't even call the cops that time. That's where I'm going to leave it there because we don't need to get entirely into the nitty gritty and all of that. But between 1970 and 1986 is when he starts murdering. He will still do the same thing of having the woman tie up their male partner, take them into multiple other rooms of the house, but then he would bludgeon them to death, usually with something found in the house, because multiple items would be reported missing from the house. He would be taking the weapons with them, and this sort of counters to an idea that I thought was interesting, at least in the terms of like crime analysis and like true crime writing, this idea of what they call the intelligent rapist. Because a lot of like true crime writers and cops often think rightfully so, rapists as scum, dumb, like literally only there for the sexual deviance and joy of it. But D'Angelo sort of skirts this because becomes more and more careful and more meticulous. This led certain cops to question whether or not he might have been a cop himself, whether or not he had military experience, the way he would plan routes, be very careful about what he was taking. He would turn off heaters and AC units for better hearing. The placing of the plates on victims and on as almost like jury-rigged alarm systems.
It's so weird and specific. I've never heard that before.
Well, it struck them as something that could have been used as like a disciplinary action in boot camp or something, or creating improvised alarm systems out of what you had. And then the plotting of escape routes and hiding locations. Someone in the book said if he is military, look for him in the bottom of an outhouse or in the middle of a blackberry bush. If he is military, he's going to be trained to hide somewhere that no one else is going to fucking hide. And he was exceptionally patient. They would find shoe imprints so deep in the ground that they would determine that he had been there for hours, just waiting and plotting. Now, I don't want, obviously, long time of crime and terror, but there is one story that stuck out to me when he was becoming known as when let's, for all intents and purposes, call him the Golden State Killer now.
Okay.
There is the murder of Sherry Domingo and Gregory Sanchez in 1981.
Why does that sound familiar?
I don't know.
Okay, go on.
But
sorry.
I forget what part of California this took place in. But basically, this story was so tragic to me because it is simultaneously a story of right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time. Basically, Debbie Domingo is Sherry Domingo's daughter from her first marriage, which had since dissolved. She was 15 years old. She is growing up, becoming more and more of, let's just say, a shithead,
Teenager.
a teenage person. She would often try and pit the two divorced parents against each other. She would throw temper tantrums and be like, I'm going to go live with the other parent, this, that, and the other thing. To the point, she packs up and leaves, runs away one day. She's in like a sort of like a halfway house for troubled youths. The way the book describes it, though, a very like hippy-dippy sort of California troubled youths halfway house, where like
you how they do rehab now.
Yeah, where like you can come and go as you want, but the only stipulation is we need to have like a mandated therapy session at some point. So her mother comes into a therapy session. They immediately blow up at each other, and that goes poorly. She realizes, Debbie, the daughter, realizes at a certain point that she doesn't have her swimsuit. So she calls her mom and says, I need my swimsuit, can I come back and get it? Her mother, finally listening to advice from friends, says no. And this enrages Debbie even further and says, why can't you just get the hell out of my life? And hangs up. Boom. Uh-oh. Now, enter Gregory Sanchez. Gregory Sanchez was, I believe Sherry Domingo was 35. Gregory Sanchez was 27. And they had an on-again, off-again relationship.
Get it.
I'm
so sorry.
Sherry Domingo, it was not older than, but old enough that she felt older than Gregory Sanchez, who was very laissez-faire about everything. She wanted more stability. He wanted to be young and have fun. So to the point where Debbie has known him long enough that she sees her less like a father figure, but maybe like an older brother or something like that. He's still relatively close with the family and close with Sherry. Now they had broken up. Debbie expects that this is just going to be one of their spats where they'll get back together, but he had started seeing someone else. Someone that had planned to move to Florida he was planning to move to Florida to pursue some job or opportunity or school or something, I forget. So he tells Debbie that this is going to happen. She's beside herself. She is upset by this. Now, Gregory Sanchez eventually decides that he's actually going to stay in California because he'd be closer to friends and family. He tells this girl that he's seeing that he's going to actually stay in California. The girl is very excited, thinks that they have a future together. He's going to go spend the night with her. But when he tells her that he wants to that she thinks he's going to spend the night with her, he says that he's actually going to go spend the night with his old friend Sherry Domingo.
Oh.
Now, mind you, Debbie's in the halfway house. Gregory Sanchez is going to spend the night with Sherry Domingo. Golden State Killer is then breaks into their place and murders both Gregory Sanchez and Sherry Domingo.
Damn.
So if Gregory Sanchez would have stayed the night with the person that he was seeing, he would have probably still been alive. And also Debbie, because she chewed out her mom, is also still alive because she had made that decision. Now this is also interesting because this is one of only a handful of instances where the female victim was reportedly not sexual assaulted, and they believe it's because this is one of only a few instances where the male partner was able to get free and fight back.
Oh, now, good for you, buddy.
Now this caused the Golden State Killer to shoot them both
fuck.
instead of taking his time and bludgeoning them to death with something.
I don't know. Okay.
Now the tragic end of this story is that I don't think Debbie's mom, Sherry Domingo's side of the family, ever forgave Debbie, and as the book tells it, they sort of cut her out of her life.
I mean, I get it being complicated, but fuck.
Yeah.
It's not her fucking fault. She just wasn't there. It just means she's not dead like the rest of them.
I know.
If she was there, she just would have been dead too.
I know. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So Now, just to sort of wrap up here, a lot of those guys, theories about D'Angelo were right.
Oh.
He was a police officer with the burglary unit
Ha!
from 1973 to 1976. He was suspended and eventually fired for shoplifting. He also served 22 months in Vietnam. He did a 22-month tour in Vietnam. The craziest part of this story to me, though, if I can find it, I have it somewhere here in my notes.
I believe in you.
He was married to Shannon Marie Huddle from 1973 until they were separated in 1991. Divorced in 2018 when he was eventually captured. He has 3 daughters. 2 homes, one of which he would eventually be apprehended from in 2018.
Gacy had 2 wives, too.
Yeah.
And he had 2 kids of his own. He also apparently had 2 stepdaughters who he was, like, perfectly nice to. But one of the daughters stayed in the room where, like, the crawl space entrance was.
Yeah.
So, like, that's fucking crazy. Like, how do you have, like, a whole house and, like, life like that and then go out and assault and murder and just be the most disgusting piece of shit? That's so fucking crazy.
Absolutely nuts. Now, it's been a while since I've seen the docuseries. And I haven't finished the book yet. I don't know why he stopped. Because a lot of people, maybe he didn't, maybe it was just, like, other unsolved crimes, but, like, it seems like they figured out at least the whole stretch of when he was doing these things.
Was that the first time he shot anybody?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know, maybe if he had to, like, change why he did what he did, or, like, I don't know.
Well, that was 1981, that Sherry Domingo case. He was still killing people for another 5 years.
God damn, dude.
So I don't know why he stopped. Maybe they go into it, maybe they don't. From what I remember, when he was apprehended, he was in his 70s, and he tried to play
That's so crazy.
Belligerent, old, confused man when he was apprehended.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so fucking crazy, dude.
Now, this is all possible thanks to Michelle McNamara, who raised interest in the case. They reopened cases. And what always blows my mind is that, like, DNA testing just wasn't a thing until the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So they went back and, like, went through all these rape kits that were taken from the victims and started connecting dots. Till finally, in 2018, they built a whole genealogy family tree based on the DNA and was able to connect it to D'Angelo. Yeah, so obviously there's some gaps there, especially in the end of the story, more so towards his apprehension, or his apprehending.
Yeah, there you go.
But I need to finish the book or rewatch the miniseries.
I want to read that book now, too.
I'll lend it to you when I'm done with it.
What's weird is, like, for some reason I feel like that's more chipper than the Gacy shit. But I think my problem with the Gacy stuff is just, like he just never owned up to anything ever.
Yeah.
Like, I think I almost would feel better if dude just, like, at the end was like, you know what, well, the thing is, that there was a point where he was like, yeah, I did do it. And, like, he did say that to cops and to his lawyers and to, like, other people. And then, like, to the point that I think they even had him on tape saying so.
Yeah.
But, like, even before he was going to be murdered, he was just like, no, it was these kids. It wasn't me at all.
Yeah.
Which is so fucked up.
And now, I guess one thing that I forgot to mention to finally close out the story of Joseph James D'Angelo and the Golden State Killer is that he is currently serving 13 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole,
Dude is
plus
still
8
alive?
years. Yeah, he's still alive. Well, he's only like how old is he? I mean, he's old. He's 80.
Yeah. Good fucking riddance once he's gone.
For fucking real.
Jesus.
But yeah, that was an episode.
It's funny because, like, I was thinking the other day about how, like, oh yeah, we didn't do true crime a ton before, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, after researching this and doing this, I'm like, I kind of see why.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer that, like, people like this actually exist. But I thought I wanted to spotlight this because I think the, like, actual story around it is really cool. Michelle McNamara seemed like a
cool.
badass bitch.
Well, and, like, from what I understand, the positive side of the Gacy thing, and, like, in the biopic, it was really sweet because they did put in, like, they talked about different, like, queer supporting fundraisers and, like protection services and stuff like that you can contact. So, like, I feel like it was very much about the victims, and it did talk about how, I believe it was Rob Peace's mother, like, went on to sort of advocate for, like, better, I don't know if it was just better policing or if she was the reason they had the better system. But, like, in a way, it wasn't a good thing that this happened by any means, but, like, there was something sort of positive that was able to come from the end.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, we were able to improve. Because, like, I have kind of wondered why we don't really see any modern serial killers, you know?
It's a lot harder nowadays with DNA tracking and stuff.
I think it's that, and I think it's, like, it is because, like, trial and error kind of shit, where it's, like, yeah, the cops are finally, like, paying attention when people complain about somebody.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
Well, also, you just gotta figure, like, technology is so advanced, like, even home technology, home security, and stuff like that, too.
100%. Well, it's like, you know, I mean, there's...
I forgot to mention, Sacramento was raised into such a panic around his attacks that people were, like, just like, gutting their front yards of, like, any shrubbery or, like, cutting down branches from trees to just, like, eliminate hiding spots. And they're, like, deadbolts were on back order, the like, gun sales skyrocketed.
Yeah, I get it. I can't...
And especially when you learn that, like, that wasn't the only serial rapist in the Sacramento area at that time.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. That's brutal.
And with that being said, Joelyn and I are going to rank our top 10 favorite real-life murders. I'll go first.
No! Get me out of here.
Thank you all so much for listening. You can find in the description for this video all the links to our social medias. You can find our email address, and you can find our Letterboxd accounts. Any closing thoughts, Joelyn?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty good. I'm happy with where we left it. This feels more chipper than talking about serial killers.
Fair enough. All right, until next time, my tender lovely.